What's cooking, good looking? Welcome to my 10-minute soft glam makeup tutorial so you can get your makeup to stay from day till night. By the end of this, you will be an expert, okay? The most important part of your makeup routine is your skin prep. I'm using the Point of View Beauty bundle. It comes with the Drench It Priming Milk, the Drip It Glow Serum, and the Whip It Hydrating Cream. I have very oily skin, and I know that for oily girls, using this many hydrating products might seem a little bit scary. You might think this will make the oil production worse. No, babe. If your skin is dry, it'll be very oily. Now that we're all moisturized, it's time for our Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. This right here is what gets rid of the oil. I always put it in my T-zone. That's my most oily spot. And then under my eyes, I use a different primer. I use the e.l.f. Hydro Grip, okay? Next, eyebrows. And we're using eyelash glue instead of eyebrow gel. I don't care. It's what works for me. I push it into my eyebrows, really brush it in there. Kind of laminate your eyebrows with the glue. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Ebony. And when you're drawing in your eyebrows, don't do one straight line. Do small little strokes like that. It keeps your eyebrows natural looking and not harsh, you know? Once you brush it through, you should get something like this. Very cute. For foundation today, we're using NARS Soft Matte in the shade Caracas. Really get in there with the foundation. A lot of girls feel like after they do their makeup, it doesn't look like there's anything on your face. You're not using enough products. Literally, look, I'm putting some more. Make sure you put enough. Also, if you notice, I'm not putting any foundation under my eyes so that we don't get too cakey after we put concealer. And if you have multiple chins like I do, please get up under there. Please do not forget the multiple chins. Put it under there and beat that foundation into your face. Beat it in there. Blend it real good. Don't put it under your eyes. Okay, making sure you don't forget. Now, moving on to concealer, we're using Haus Labs and Born This Way. Haus Labs in the shade 31 Medium Neutral and Born This Way in the shade Sand. You don't have to use two different concealers. I use two different ones to make sure that I get the right color for me because the Born This Way is a little yellow and the Haus Labs is neutral, so I mix them together for something in between. The concealer on the sides of your nose does that little like thing, okay? A free nose job. Now put it in that space between your nose and your lip and right down your nose for your little like contour situation. Now we're going to do our chin and our forehead. Like I said, you don't have to keep going in between the different colors if you don't want to. I just, want the proper color balance for my face. If you're going to mix concealers like I am, please make sure your concealers are compatible so you can avoid creasing. For our contour, we're going to use the LYS bronzer stick actually in the shade No Limit Courage and this Wet n Wild stick foundation in the shade Chestnut Marron that happens to be like discontinued or out of stock. Where is this shade, Wet n Wild? Anyway, get you a nice little tiny angled brush and bring whatever shade you're going to use down the sides of your nose. If you can tell, I'm also like starting at my eyebrow, okay? That's gonna be important later when we do our eyeshadow. It really blends everything together. Okay, so now we're going to use our LYS stick or whatever you're using and put it right above that crease. Okay, when you suck in, do like the fish face right above the crease that you get on your cheek. Okay, we're also going to put this LYS on the temples of our forehead. And we're going to use the Wet n Wilds in the middle of our forehead. If you're wondering why I'm using two different ones, the Wet n Wild is more warm toned and the LYS is more cool toned. Mixing them together just looks nice. I don't really know the science behind it. Do you see how I'm blending upwards on my cheek, but then when I'm doing my forehead, I'm blending backwards, okay? Make sure you do that. Just applying a little bit more here. I'm doing a little happy dance because I found my contour brush. In the beginning, I wasn't using it. When I blend out my concealer, I use two different brushes. Now, this big one, I think it's the Real Techniques Ultra Blur or Ultra Buff, something like that. That's for big spaces, like the sides of your nose, your chin, your forehead. But when you're getting into those tiny spaces, like in between your eyebrows, underneath your eyes, you know what I'm saying? You want to use something a little bit more small and precise so you don't mess up the placement of your products. If you mess up the placement, then, your makeup won't look as professional, okay? Blend out your nose. And honestly, you can stop here. Your makeup looks good here. But if you want that little extra oomph, Okay, let's go for a brighter under eye. So we're going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Natural Beige. This is a little bit brighter than sand, okay? Only in the inner corners of your eyes. And then you're going to take your regular shade, okay, I'm using my sand again, and going back down my nose. I want to mention that when you're doing your makeup, you're going to have to repeat certain steps over and over, okay? Because blending gets rid of your definition. So you see me going right back over my nose and reapplying those contour lines. Now, you see me blending my inner corner, okay? You see how I'm not moving the brush? I'm literally just tapping it in place. You don't want that extra bright concealer all over your face. You will look like a ghost. So keep it, keep it where you placed it, all right? Moving on to eyes, we're gonna use this Black Radiance contour palette. Now, because this is not an eyeshadow, when you put the color on your eyes, swipe downwards because the color will spread so quickly. Swiping down keeps a little bit more control of where it's going. Once you have enough pigment on your eyes, then you can blend it into those lines you made when you contoured your nose. Remember how we put it into our eyebrows? Okay, now we're going to use this Gucci concealer. I'm not even going to try to read what shade that is. Honestly, the Sephora girl scammed me out my money. Just make sure you get a concealer that is closer to your skin shade, and we're gonna go in and carve out our brows. If you're new to this, please make sure your eyebrows are done before you try to attempt to do this. It makes it a lot easier. You're gonna use a small angled brush, okay, an eyebrow brush, and you're gonna take your time. This is gonna take a while because you also want to make sure your eyebrows are at least cousins. I'm really showing you this part because I know that a lot of people, usually cut out the eyebrow tutorial. When you're going to the top of your eyebrow, use your foundation. This way, your eyebrows are not going to float on your face, okay? You're just lining the top of your brows with your foundation. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This also keeps the brows looking very natural. Now, you're going to use a dense, fluffy brush to blend out those lines. You don't want any harsh lines. Keep on blending. Now it's time to set our face. I'm using the regular and ultra blur Laura Mercier powders, the Fit Me pressed powder, and I'm also going to use this Makeup by Mario bronzer in the shade Dark. Before we put any powder, blend out those lines so you don't set your creases. Now we're going to use the traditional Laura Mercier powder, tap away the excess on your hand, and really, really get in there, okay? We're putting this powder everywhere that we put our concealer, okay? You don't have to use both Laura Mercier powders. You can just use this one. Like, it looks great, doesn't it? The Ultra Blur is a little bit more brightening than this one. But yeah, with your Fit Me powder, you do the exact same thing in the exact same spot. Tap off the excess and put the powder where you put your concealer. Don't forget the sides of your nose, okay? You also put concealer on the sides of your nose. Now, this is the other Laura Mercier powder. You see how it's like flying away in the air? It's a lot thinner than the other one, and like I said, it's brightening. So I kind of just left it to bake while I put on my bronzer. With the bronzer, just have fun with it. Put as much as you want. If you feel like you put too much, you can wipe it off by using a clean brush. Just go over it with the clean brush. Speaking of wipe off the Ultra Blur in the inner corners. And now I'm trying to figure out which blush I want. I ended up picking Volume 5 Juvia's Place. This one is like a peachy tone. I always put my blush under my eyes. I feel like it lifts the face. It's very, very pretty. And to blend the blush in with my under eye, I use a little bit more translucent powder. You see me putting a little bit more Ultra Blur in my inner corners. This is a choice. At this point with your makeup, it's up to you. These are all finishing touches at this point. Wipe away that extra powder, and now look, we're pretty much done. But like I said, finishing touches. So we're doing black eyeliner. I use the Kiss. I use this Bubble Maybelline mascara for my bottom lashes. And I always use a clean brush to go over my entire face to make sure everything is blended and seamless. Time for the lip combo. I'm using Juvia's Place lip liner in the shade Coffee Bean. I love this lip liner. It's super creamy. And overlining is a choice. You don't have to do that. I use this Glam Light lipstick all the time. It's from their Strawberry Strawberry Shortcake kit. But I'm obviously not using, you know, the lip liner and the lip gloss that comes with it. Go back in with your Juvia's Place liner to blend with the lipstick. And this is a Juvia's Place lip gloss in the shade Butterscotch. This is very pigmented, so honestly, you don't really need lipstick. I just kind of like the look. And then I just add some clear lip gloss on top and draw in my real mole, add some fake ones for some pizzazz. You guys, we're literally almost done. All you got to do is set your face. I'm using e.l.f. today. I usually use Charlotte Tilbury, but I ran out. And then I really lock it in with that one size. Look at that. I told y'all it wasn't hard. We did it. Thanks for sticking with me. I look good. You look good. We look good. Bye, guys.